Hi there, this is Elise Bennin, your marketing mentor. And this is the podcast for you if and only if you are ready to leave the feast or famine syndrome behind, and I mean for good. For today's episode, I welcomed back Michael Katz of Blue Penguin Development to talk about a question that the SMP Plus community has been debating. What the heck is a pipeline and who should be in it? Now, Michael and I disagree a little bit, which is always good for a debate. And of course, he's his funny self as usual, as the conversation meanders from here to there, and of course, to AI as well. So listen and learn. Hello, Michael. Welcome back to the podcast.
Great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Of course. I don't know how many this has been, but it's a lot. So you're a veteran. You're a welcome back guest.
I'm honored.
Excellent. So today we're going to talk about a pipeline, the pipeline. What is a pipeline? What's that about? And but before we do, tell the people who you are.
I'm Michael Katz. My company's called Blue Penguin Development. I'm a marketing consultant and I specialize in email and newsletters.
Beautiful. And so I'm going to ask the question maybe on two levels, right? What is a pipeline to you? And then is there another way you think about it for your own clients, for example?
Well, to me, just to take a step back, I find many people think of the sales process as this event that happens where you talk to a prospect and they say yes or no. And
Right.
that does happen. I mean, it has to happen. But to me, that's the end of the pipeline. And in that, to me, the pipeline is all the things and you do to get people to know who you are and pay attention. And eventually, if all goes well, have that final discussion. So it's not just an event, it's a process that leads up to that.
Mm-hmm.
And my approach has always been, and it's the same for my clients, because they sort of look like me, like small professional service firms or who I work with. It's really about what do you do to get people in that pipeline so that you have as many people as possible who want to come to you and have that conversation about whether to hire you or not.
Mm-hmm. And so this idea of who is in your pipeline, one of the reasons it's a big topic in my community is because we have in the SMP Plus, the Simplest Marketing Plan Plus program, we have a process that people are going through where one of the goals is to build a pipeline. We want you to walk away with a pipeline and the marketing habits to support that pipeline. And at the outset, I said, your pipeline is your shortlist. It's anyone who can hire you, refer you, and or open a door for you. And I thought that was a pretty good definition, but people seem to be very confused about who exactly that is. So first, then, let me ask you, what do you think of my definition? And maybe how would you make it better?
I like your definition. First of all, I love the term marketing habits because that to me is what it's all about. It's not like something you do on a Tuesday afternoon. It's it's a lifestyle. I totally agree with your definition. The problem I find people and myself among them is, so how do you know who those people are? And what I've found is it's impossible to tell, and I don't think you need to differentiate in that way, because what happens is people then start thinking, well, okay, this person's of no use to me, and this person is. And what I find is they tend to be right about that this person is, okay, this person's in my industry, or this person looks like a potential client. But we all live in a word of mouth world. And what you don't know is whose mouth can talk about you. So, for example, I got a call or an email from somebody yesterday, which to me is sort of the perfect pipeline success. It's a woman who We have a friend in common. That friend is a longtime client of mine. She contacted me like a year ago and just said, "Oh, I know you know David, so do I. I'm going to be in your area. Do you want to have coffee?" Now, she looks like no one I would particularly work with just because I don't even know who she is or what she wants or anything. But I said, "Sure." We had coffee. I really have like no memory of the conversation. I wasn't trying to sell her anything. I was just chatting with her. And here she comes a year later and says, "Hey, I'm thinking I need a newsletter." So she didn't fit really anything that would have made me pay particular attention to her. And the client who sent her to me, I wasn't saying to him, "Send me referrals." Again, not that you shouldn't do that, but it's always, at least in my world, it's so random. It's all these people who just hear about you and know about you and eventually contact you. And you don't know who's friends with who, who's the brother of who, who's married to somebody. So I view everyone as a potential referral, certainly. And then it also relieves me of having to make this decision about, is this person kind of worth my time or whatever? Because I just find it's really hard to do. And because people like us are not doing some kind of big concerted ad campaign, it's very much word of mouth that I'm just constantly trying to stir the pot of relationships and keep them alive as possible to get people into that pipeline.
Okay, so you're contradicting everything I have said.
Uh-oh.
In a way, um, because as we've talked about before, we've kind of debated this idea of word of mouth because I think you'll agree with me that you cannot rely on word of mouth. You can't be at the mercy of word of mouth. And my whole system is built on the idea that when you need work, when you look ahead a month from now and you see that there's not a lot of paying work, billable work on your calendar yet, you need to do something. And I submit to you that what you need to do is go to your pipeline, your short list, and reach out to people who have the highest potential of giving you work or, hiring you, referring you, or opening a door for you. And that these should be warm people. They're not just your whole contact list. You're not going to just look at your mailing list and say, who should I contact? You need to have the short list. So, what do you say to that?
I don't disagree with that. I kind of feel like they're not at all mutually exclusive. So maybe it depends on where you are in your business and even like what you prefer to do. It's sort of like if you want to be healthy, is it diet or exercise? Well, like, they both do different things. I agree. My approach is way more random and way more longer term. Like it's not going to happen tomorrow. But at the same time, it's like this wheel that once it starts turning, you need to do way less of what you're talking about, but you don't have to do one or the other. But again, in terms of how I live, it's very much, I don't do anything in a deliberate way in terms of individuals. It's entirely keep the machine going. And then what happens is, like the woman yesterday, it just keeps happening. So, and it also fits my sort of personality, which is I like interacting with people, but I don't like it being, sort of salesy. It just never worked for me. So this works. But again, I could do what you're doing and continue doing what I'm doing. Like they do actually work really well together.
Right. And so if you were to do what I'm suggesting, or if a client of yours came to you and said, I love this newsletter and what we're doing together, but I need work right now, what should I do?
Mm-hmm.
Who should I reach out to?
Well, I'd say call Elise Bennett. Well, I have to say, I don't specialize in that.
Mm-hmm.
Because my entire kind of newsletter relationship marketing approach is fundamentally this idea of stay in front of people over and over again over time. So now to answer your question, I'm just going to be making it up because I
Go
don't
ahead.
I don't do that and people don't come to me. But I would say, okay, so I would, if I had to do that, if you dropped me on earth right now and I had to start from the beginning, yes, I would first figure out what does the person who would hire me look like, which I know in conversations I've had with people, even in developing their newsletter, where I say, well, who's your target audience? And the default tends to be like planet Earth. And so having this discussion about, for example, I said I only work with small professional service firms. So even though I don't go after them deliberately, I'm very clear about my people. So when I'm interacting with somebody, I know, is this someone who's, in or out of who I might work with? So to me, that's number one. What are you fishing for, if you will? And then the second thing would be, well, where do these, this is a bad metaphor, where do the fish hang out? What's the, again, well, it's funny. As I'm talking, I'm thinking, I guess I have done this more deliberately in the past. Like, okay, I used to belong to a professional business network that was filled with professional service providers. I'm not going to some retail organization. Some people don't hire me. I don't go to some place where big company people go. They don't hire me. I belong to an organization that has the right kind of people. And then, yes, I think you need to develop some type of deliberate approach. And if you're going to do that, it can't be thousands of people, probably. It needs to be smaller people with higher impact. But again, I now I feel like I'm giving advice on something I don't really know.
All right. Well, let me tell you what I've come up with, and you tell me what you
Okay,
think.
good.
So again, because what you're describing there is essentially finding your people, finding your market, which is
Yes.
the first step in the process. But I need warm leads. I need a short list. I need to fill my pipeline so that when I need work, I know exactly who to call. The 10 people, the 25 people, right? It's not a big list, it's a short list. So, who exactly is warm seems to be the question that people are asking me. So, I came up with three because I love the number 3.
Mm-hmm.
Three ways of qualifying or three categories of people. The first one is someone with whom you have had a personal exchange. It could be via email, it could be in real time, it could be coffee, but someone with whom you have had some kind of exchange. That's one.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you all three. Then, and or someone you have qualified. Maybe you haven't had a personal exchange, but you know for a fact that they can provide or refer you to potential work in the future. And third, someone you really, 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 really want to work with. A dream client, say, even if you've had no personal contact yet. Anyone who doesn't fit into those three categories, they get your newsletter, right? You put them on your newsletter list. You offer them your newsletter. You tell them to subscribe to your newsletter so that you can stay top of mind. And then you can get what I know you've heard me call newsletter magic. And they respond to your newsletter and they say, I'm ready. Let's talk. I have a project for you. I'm ready. What do you think?
I like that. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, philosophically, we're on the same page.
Yes, always.
I'm just very much I just live in a long-term world. And I have found that once you get that going, it's the newsletter magic. It's like, it's always been funny to me how the stream of people never ends. It's like they're coordinating out in the universe. They don't all call on the same day, but they all come to you consistently over time if you're in front of them. And I would say that a lot of people who look at this as get a client, stop marketing, get a client, stop marketing, are always at square one. And I want to get to the point where I don't even have to think about marketing. It just kind of keeps coming.
So that kind of begs the question then, because I agree with you, of course, and am in that position myself, but I've been at this for almost 40 years, and you probably have too. So how long does it take? Does it take 40 years? Does it take 30 years? Does it take 5 years?
Yeah, your mileage may vary. And I'm at 26 years, not 40. But so it's funny. It's like when my kids ask me advice about, the workplace, I'm like, I'm giving you 40-year-old information here. And so I do feel the same way that, when I started, it was 26 years ago, I think I went 6 months before I had a single person pay me a cent, but it's only gotten better and better. So, it depends on your situation. I get it. You might not be able to wait 6 months. And so you need to do more deliberate things. But it's gonna vary by person and whatever it is you sell and all that.
All right. So I think that's a good segue to the thing everything keeps coming back to these days. We're talking in 2026, mid 2026, which is AI. And the first question I want to ask you is why is that woman who called you yesterday not using AI for her newsletter?
That's a great question. Well, I think there is a percent. There's a portion of the world who will never call me who would have called me, 10 years ago. Just like there's a portion of the world that does their own plumbing who never would have called a plumber 10 years ago. Because there's can I do it? Can I do it well? And do I want to do it?
Hmm.
So what I'm really selling for people is not just here's 800 words, because I think if that's what you need on a particular topic, yeah, AI is okay, whatever. 85% as good as what I can write, but it's a
Good
lot
enough.
faster and a lot cheaper. Right.
Right.
But a lot of people just want a person who's going to take them by the hand, make sure it's done right, and they want to hire that. I mean, again, why hire someone to wash your car? You can do it yourself. So I don't think it scales the way it maybe would have in terms of newsletters or writing in general 10 years ago. But somebody like me, okay, I've got 10 newsletter clients that, every single month. I think the most I've ever had was a dozen. So
Hmm.
it doesn't really matter if the population of people has been cut in half or even by 80%. I only need 10 or 12.
Mm-hmm.
But I
Mm-hmm.
do think for people who write for a living, the temptation to just use AI is really high. And I don't know, like, I wonder, will what I do be completely, irrelevant in whatever 5 years? Or my hope is that the AI stuff becomes so formulaic that anyone who can actually tell a real story actually becomes even more valuable.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. But anyway, that's your question. Some people just want to write a check and know that things are done for them.
Right. And I agree. And I often find though that people, whether it's writers or designers, don't see the value in that. For some reason, their value and their identity is rooted in the skill. And if someone else can do the skill, or if a bot can do the skill, then they don't see the value in what you're describing, which is hold your hand and take care of it. And that you position it that way, even like you don't have to worry about it. I will take this over and you don't even have to think about it.
Yes, I think how you position it is really important. I mean, even AI aside, I've gone to great pains not to be classified as a quote freelance writer, even though that's really my skill.
And how you introduced yourself was I'm a marketing consultant who specializes in email newsletters.
Right. It's like, and also in the beginning, when I first started, sort of stumbled onto newsletters, I remember saying to people, well, I'll write the newsletter. You need to go get a designer, and then you need to get some tech person to set this thing up. And people feel like, thanks. And I never hear from them again. And then I realized now what I've been saying to people for many years is I take care of everything, the designer, the tech, anything having to do with anything. It's all taken care of. It's all in the same price. All you got to do is show up and talk to me. And again, not everyone, but for a lot of people, and I would also say the high end, very successful people who can pay a lot more, that's what they want. They don't want to
Mm-hmm.
know how MailChimp works.
Mm-hmm.
They just want to get it done. So I do think, even though, again, I think of writing as the thing I'm particularly good at, I never lead with that. And I don't, and I think it's the same with design. How do you package yourself? Because you have to satisfy a need. And I'd also say, just on that, I don't want the people who think they can do it themselves. They just don't have time. I mean, it might be true. I want the people who are like, I don't know how you do this. Work your magic. That's the best client because,
Mm.
again, to them it is magic.
Mm-hmm.
And, they're happier than they would if they thought they could do it themselves. And it also means that, you just have a lot more freedom to do things the way you'd like to.
I had someone sent me a question the other day, a writer saying, is it wrong if I use AI to write blogs and articles for my own marketing? What would you say to that?
That is an interesting question. In the writing world, people who are writing novels and stuff, it's like if it's discovered that you used AI, because I know a few people who are writing books now,
Mm-hmm.
at least now, it's like you just broke some fundamental rule, which I don't really get. Because to me, it's like, well, it's sort of like saying you're not allowed to use a backhoe. You have to dig the hole by yourself. So I don't have a sort of religious point of view about it, like this is bad or good. I do think, though, that at least for now, the AI stuff just has a certain like smell to it. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know. To me, it's like, well, I like writing. That's what I do. So I'm not going to use it. But if it were something like, can you organize this information or something, or can you help? Like I'm working on a book, having AI, like, okay, where do you think this might go? I don't think that's a problem. But I would say that at least for now, there's this real like AI is evil thing going. I don't know. I mean, what do you think about that?
Yeah. I mean, what I said to this person was if you're a writer, I don't see why you would use AI to do your thinking and writing, but I don't think there's anything wrong with it. It's totally up to you. And especially if it's for your own content. But to me, that's where the pleasure is. And if I outsource it to a bot or even to a person, right? Like a ghostwriter, then I'm not doing it and I'm not learning. And actually, that was another issue that came up with a client I was talking to the other day. We were talking about how, and I'm sure you can speak to this actually, how when you create your own content, so write your own newsletter, for example, which is one of the tools in the Simplest Marketing Plan that most people have the hardest time with for some reason. But when you do it, there's so many byproducts of the process. There's what you learn that you didn't even know you knew. It comes out on the page, and that makes you perhaps more confident about what you're offering. And I mean, to me, the byproducts just multiply, but there's so much resistance to people creating their own content on a regular basis as a marketing habit. And when they outsource it to you, then they're not creating it. But I wonder, because you said the only thing they have to do is show up and talk to you, right? That process in and of itself has some of those effects, right?
Yeah, I totally agree that the learning is in the struggle. First of all, you can't write something coherent without really understanding what you're saying. Whereas a lot of people can sort of talk and talk and talk, and it's just like a lot of words, and it doesn't. I found with my own clients, like I don't know if how clear a thinker a person is until they write something for me. No
Mm-hmm.
matter how much they talk, even how successful they are. So the writing is very helps clarify things. I've many times sort of thought through something, and then I find myself kind of repeating it to a client who asks a question because I already worked it out. But at the same time, for a lot of people, writing is just very, very painful. Like for someone like me who likes to write, it just kind of comes out of my head. And so it's enjoyable. I mean, not every minute, but I really like it. So I
Mm-hmm.
get it that if you hate it, you don't want to do it. And yes, when I'm interviewing people, because I write all the newsletters I do are one-off newsletters. It's just whoever the expert is, I interview them, but I don't know anything. I'm just good at getting out of their head. And that helps them get clearer because I force them I'm like, well, you just said this, but now you're saying that. What do you mean?
Mm-hmm.
And they'll be like, oh, well, okay, here's why. Because again, it might be within their industry, but maybe this is a bad analogy, but it's healthier to take the stairs. But if the elevator's right there, it's hard not to just like get on and go up to your floor. And that's kind of what this is. It's like if you hate this, again, not the people who like us who sell it, but if you're a person who you need a newsletter, you want to get it out the door, AI is hard to resist.
Mm-hmm.
And
Because it removes
I
the obstacle.
yeah, and I do think something's better than nothing. I mean, half the game I think is just showing up and being visible,
Agreed.
but it's hard to know what this thing will do.
It is. And for some reason, what you're saying just reminds me of another question, which maybe this will be our last question, which is you're basically a ghostwriter, but you don't call yourself a writer. You don't call yourself a ghostwriter. Why not?
Because people don't value writing.
Mm.
Again, forget AI. For whatever reason, people don't think writing they want to pay a lot. And I think it's because we all write every day.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're emailing and whatever. So it's just an undervalued skill, despite the fact that I talk to so many people who either hate it or are bad at it or both. Whereas even something like, I don't know, well, like building an addition on your house, it's not like something you do every day. So you see value in a carpenter. But I found very quickly that writing is not just undervalued, but it feels like a commodity. Like, oh yeah, there's 10 people here who can write, and I'll pick you because you're the second cheapest. No one ever picks the cheapest.
Mm-hmm.
And so I realized pretty fast that I need to package the whole thing up to make the decision for you very easy, but also to focus on, marketing, consultant, strategy, all that stuff, which they need. And the writing just comes along with it.
Interesting. All right, Michael. Well, I think we've covered a lot and shared a little bit of what we've learned over your 26 and my almost 40 years.
Mm-hmm.
Tell the people where they can find Blue Penguin Development and why the heck you called it that.
Oh, they can find it at bluepenguindevelopment.com or michaelkatz.com. I called it that because after having a sort of regular job for 15 years before that, I suddenly realized I can do whatever I want. And I really clearly remember when I took a month off from leaving my last job to starting my thing, it just sort of came to me like, wow, I can name this anything. And I don't know, I wanted something interesting. I like penguins and I like the color blue. I should have called it Blue Penguin Marketing. But
perhaps
back then, I wasn't even sure I was going to do marketing in
Mm-hmm.
particular. Development seemed appropriately vague, but yeah, that's
And
it.
actually, one more point there, because obviously you haven't changed it in 26 years. And does that mean the name really doesn't matter all that much?
Um, well, it mattered way back in 2001 because you kind of had to know the name of you had to know the URL to find a thing.
Mm-hmm.
But what I found is, even though it's a complete accident, by naming it something physical like a penguin, first of all, people give you a lot of penguin gifts. But you know what? People remember that.
Right.
Whereas if I called it like marketing innovations or something like that, that's fine. But nobody would remember that.
Right.
I have, out of my, like, say, 10 clients, 3 of them literally call me Penguin. Like, I never invited them to. It's just like Mr. Penguin. And I don't even notice it really anymore. But I think from a marketing perspective, that turned out to be really good.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I don't know. I don't know how much it matters. Like when you're a solo or an independent, you're the company. So I always say, pick something you like, but don't obsess over it because, it's not like you're Nike or something. I mean, Nike and Google are like terrible names, really.
It's true. All right, Michael. Thank you as always.
Thank you. Always great to be here.
I'm sure we'll talk again soon. Wasn't that fun? I thought so. He'll be back soon. And if you want my help figuring all of this out, take advantage of my free mentoring session. You can find that and lots more resources, including my simplest marketing plan at marketing-mentor.com. So enjoy, and I'll see you next time.